at some point. It reminds me of an article that I saw just a few minutes ago. They're talking about now down at the border, they want to
Yes.
give money
Oh
to
yes.
people that came across the border and they were separated from their kids.
Illegally.
Yeah,
Illegally.
they want to give them a lot of money,
Yes, I think it was $500,000 a
half a
family.
million dollars
Oh,
for the mental anguish and trauma that was inflicted upon them when they put themselves in the position of being detained by the United States government because they crossed the border illegally.
yep.
Now, I'm not defending the way that the Trump administration did it. In fact, I'm not saying whether the way they did it was good, bad, or indifferent. I'm asking the question though, on what basis do you refuse to even discuss addressing the ills that have been inflicted upon the ADOS community for generation after
Yep.
generation,
Yep.
but you just got a checkbook that's ready, willing, and able for
Right.
some folk that the only negative experience they've had is when they crossed over the border illegally.
Right. Right.
But
That's
again,
absolutely true.
and you think that you're gonna put that out there and not see a surge at the border like we're seeing
Yeah.
now. You
Right.
think you put that kind of information out and think people aren't going to, make an effort above and beyond to get in here. And then on top of that, then we don't talk about it anymore now for whatever reason. We just push that back down into the mud.
Hold on, caller.
But remember Haitians?
Yeah.
Remember them?
Yeah.
They're not getting offered six
Well,
figures.
you better believe they not.
They're getting a flight back to Haiti so that they can be kidnapped by some of the gangs.
Yep. More than 7,500 Haitian migrants were deported in less than 3 weeks by the United States, which chartered 70 flights. They chartered 70 flights. Uh, Tens of thousands of migrants, mostly Haitian, had crossed the Mexico-Texas border since the middle of September, prompting the U.S. government to launch an emergency expulsion program. I got to take this caller because this caller's been
Yep.
patient. Hello, caller.
Just calling in to say something about the money. So the way things happen in the United States, you break the law, and it's worth it because you're going to get something out of it, and that's what has happened.
Well, not for us. Definitely
Doesn't
not
work for
for us.
us.
I'm speaking for us. I'm speaking of the undocumented people.
Yeah.
Break the law, and it's worth it.
Right.
He just wrote about 4 months ago on Biggie for a big check to be able to house these children.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we, Black America, let our president get over like a fat rat with the undocumented people, and wait a minute, let's back up. Let's get our reparation out first before we start giving anything out to anybody else. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't even tried to get a committee to study this. No, we just give them money. And I would like to know if you had two people in a car, an undocumented person who's driving and a Black American who's in there with them, their friends. They just broke into a house, stole some money and some computers. If the police were to pick them up, what would they do? Where would they put the undocumented person? You don't have a person, you don't have a place here in Gary. I don't think you can overnight keep anybody in the jail. So where do you take that person? And then who do you report the person to? Is the police here in Gary responsible for that person? Or do they turn that person over to someone else? And then what do you do with the American citizens who actually, they both of them? For some reason, when you look at all the undocumented people that have gone over, been successful, been dead, and I just heard on the, let me back up. Even the undocumented people, they are getting the vaccinations.
Yeah.
Plenty of them for them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're getting so much per child undocumented, about maybe $8,000, $7,000 to go to school per year. Look how much money is coming out of the city to send those children to school. $8,000 per child for 12 years. See, all of this is going towards them. Show me something that they're giving us. And the Black Lives Matter surely shouldn't let this slide. If they're going to give separating from children. Were those children forced over here?
No, of course not. And they've been separating African Americans from their children for decades. It's called the prison industrial complex.
Oh, and don't forget what happens with regard to child welfare.
Right.
You know.
So what I'm saying, we
boy.
Yes.
Sit down and start, studying this thing and looking, because we're going to allow them to our Congress. And what is Mervan saying? You know, he's up there.
Right.
He doesn't. What is he saying about this? And we should ask him. If you're going to give money to people who are separated, give me a break. How many people, once they got over here into America, never saw their relatives again when they were brought over on the ship?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So, and all of a sudden, they're going to find money. They don't have enough for the reparations, but they can find money to give these people.
Right.
Have a good day.
Thank you for your call. We have another caller. Thank you for being patient. Hello, caller.
Hey, hello. I was just got in on your conversation, and I was wondering, who is it that's offering undocumented people all this money? Who is it that's doing that?
Oh, we just got rid of the caller who said it.
Federal government.
I wish I would have known. I wish I would have known you were going to ask. Maybe our caller who just called and volunteered that information.
I can read.
Oh,
I can give you the data information right now. The discussion about the payout, this is from the Wall Street Journal. The discussion about payouts have taken place over the past few months among a group of dozens of private lawyers representing the families and government lawyers. Some government lawyers have viewed the payouts as excessive for people who had violated the law by crossing the border, the people said. One government lawyer threatened to remove his name from the case out of disagreement with the potential settlement offer. But who is it that's offering it? Well, it's the Biden administration is in talks to offer immigrant families that were separated during the Trump administration around $450,000 a person in compensation.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Okay.
All
right.
Thank you for your call.
You had thank you very much. Bye-bye.
So like I said,
this is the guy who said, if you don't vote for him, you ain't black.
Right. You're not black if you don't come. If you don't vote for him. And then as soon as he got in office, he told Kamala said, don't come to the illegal immigrants. Don't come after all that time of saying Trump was racist when he was saying exactly that. This is why, like I said, I don't support either party. As a somebody who, we don't have a left-wing party from my perspective in this country, and so I'm not going to support either of these people. Now, historically, it was the left, people like A. Philip Randolph, like Cesar Chavez. I played the clip from Cesar Chavez time and time again about illegal immigration. We talked about this.
The Mexican government to bring the Bracero program again. It's a vicious attack on the local worker, and it's just one of those things that every business thinks they can get away with it. And our job is to inform the whole country what's happening, together with a boycott, and solve it that way. And so the workers themselves, even though a lot of them are Mexican descendancy themselves, are very uptight and very, very worried and very mad about the illegals coming to break their strikes, and it takes away their jobs, their livelihoods, and so forth.
Does that put you in an uncomfortable position to be against the illegal immigrants because they are from Mexico? In other words, part of your program has been an appeal to equal treatment of people of Mexican origin. Right?
Well, yeah, sure, but we're speaking of the legal ones. You know, we don't want Mexico to export its poverty to us, and then we pay. It's not the agriculture, it's not society in general. It's the farm worker again paying for those sins. You know, and Mexico should take the initiative and stop exporting the poverty to us. They should do something about the rural economy over there.
Exactly. That's what leftists used to sound like in America. That's what Cesar Chavez sounded like. That's what A. Philip Randolph, socialist, the man who organized the March on Washington, sounded like. Okay, that's what people like Samuel Gompers, former head of the AFL-CIO, even Coretta Scott King. A lot of people don't know this, but Coretta Scott King in the early 90s wrote Orrin Hatch, the Republican senator, and to ask him to do something about illegal immigration because it was hurting African-American men's ability to get jobs. Okay, that's Coretta Scott King. That's MLK's widow. The great Barbara Jordan, she had a plan to deal with illegal immigration in the mid-90s to solve this problem. And obviously, Bill Clinton talked about it. Barack Obama talked about it. Like here, this is only a few years ago. This is not that long ago where, Barack Obama said this about illegal immigration.
This administration, the Bush administration, has done nothing to control the problem that we have. We've had 5 million undocumented workers come over the borders since George Bush took office. It has become an extraordinary problem. And the reason the American people are concerned is because they are seeing their own economic position slip away. And oftentimes, employers are exploiting these undocumented workers. They're not paying the minimum wage. They're not observing worker safety laws. And so what we have to do is create a comprehensive solution to the problem. Now, I have already stated that as president, I will make sure that we finally have the kind of border security that we need.
Look, Barack Obama deported more people than every president in American history. A lot of people say that, Barack Obama, he didn't do anything about that issue. Well, he did deport a lot of people. Okay, he did. So I will say, I will give him credit for that. But I understand people's stance on it being about, I understand people's instinct to want to just welcome people who are struggling. But I have to tell people, look, walk around the city of Gary, Indiana. People are struggling here. People are struggling in Detroit, Flint, Michigan. People are struggling in every major city in this country. People are living in tents. The great A. Philip Randolph didn't think that we should have mass immigration into this country until every black person, African American, was enfranchised. Okay, until every black person in this country was able to live the American dream that they talked about. Okay, and so that's what the left used to sound like in this country, even up to Barack Obama. And now what we see is, unfortunately, the sort of identity politics that I talk about here on this show all the time, the sort of identity politics being used by the sellout corporate liberal wing of the Democratic Party to make up for the fact that they've gotten into bed with Wall Street. They're in bed with the military industrial complex. They've mass incarcerated black men until we are the most incarcerated people on planet Earth. Okay, there are more black men in prison in America currently than there are women incarcerated in the entire world put together.
Wow.
Okay. We are the most incarcerated people on planet Earth. That thanks to people like Joe Biden, the Clinton crime bill, Bill Clinton, those people who followed after Ronald Reagan and Richard Nixon. That's who the Democratic Party has become. They become a corporate party that mass incarcerates black people, that makes illegal immigration out to be a racial issue when it's really a labor issue.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to pander to Hispanics by saying, well, if you don't support illegal immigration, you're a racist. And that didn't even work, because Hispanics voted for Donald Trump, hired it at any point since the 1960s. Donald Trump got a higher percentage of the vote from minorities than any Republican in 60 years. He got 40% of Hispanic men to vote for him.
Wow.
And that was after all the pandering the Democrats do.
Wow.
That was the sheer pandering. Oh man, anybody doesn't support, opening our borders and or anybody. You heard what Kamala said. She had a lot to say about Donald Trump when he was in office, and then as soon as she gets in office, she immediately contradicts herself.
People who are fleeing murder capitals of the world. There are children who are fleeing murder capitals of the world, who have fled, most of them, murder capitals of the world. We have families that are fleeing murder capitals of the world. A mother who pays a coyote. Imagine a mother who makes a decision to pay a coyote. When a mother pays a coyote, often through a caravan, with a coyote even, to transport her child through their country of origin, through the entire country of Mexico, of traveling through the entire country of Mexico, to transport her child across the entire country of Mexico, through the entire country of Mexico. It was safer for them to take that trek through Mexico, facing unknown peril, facing unknown peril, facing unknown peril, in what they know could be a perilous journey. We have always presented ourselves as being a nation of strength with strong arms, the strong arms of America. Part of the strength of our nation is supposed to be that we have strong arms. That when people are fleeing harm, we will embrace them. Which will embrace and protect anyone fleeing or facing harm. Should be here to receive anyone who is fleeing harm.
I wonder why people have.
I want to be clear
Well, this is
to
what
folks
she says
in
now.
this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come. Do not come.
That's what they say now, but ultimately that's what they eventually are all going to have to say. There's no way we can accommodate all those people. And there's a certain level of white saviorism to think that they're better off in this country than they are in their home countries anyway. But it just goes to show you that now they act like they don't know why all those people are lined up at the border. And I bet you a lot of people out there don't know this either. That, hold on a second, caller. I bet you they don't know that 160,000 illegal immigrants have been released into the U.S., often with little to no supervision by the Biden administration since March. Including a broad use of limited parole authorities to make more than 30,000 eligible for work permits since August. Since March 20, at least 94,000 illegal immigrants have been released into the U.S. with notices to report. Those who receive such a notice are only required to check in with ICE when they get to their final destination, which could be anywhere across the country. Those who check in are not deported or detained as their immigration proceedings move forward, unless they are Haitian. Unless they're Haitian, then they gotta go.
There you go.
If you're black, you gotta go. Hello, caller.
Hey, good. Hey, how you doing, guys? Doing good. Hold on, let me turn my radio down. Hold on a second.
All right.
Thank you. Hello? I think he's still.
Yeah, he's still there.
Sorry about that. I had my radio in the other room. I had people in the screen to call. How long? Still on?
Yeah, you're still here, brother.
Oh yeah, you know what? I like once again enjoying the show. But one thing you gotta appreciate, the one reason why they were having somewhat of a revolution in organized labor, even though the Biden administration kind of dropped the ball in some aspects of immigration, but because there's no longer a whole lot of surplus labor,
Right.
the labor organizations have leverage now.
Yeah.
Like Scott said, this is a labor issue.
Yes.
And these people, we see them as undocumented labor and sort of, listen, and I hate when the mainstream media narrative, I heard so many people we see it like a jukebox. Companies, organizations that are increasing wages and benefits, they have no problem finding workers, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the places where they have low benefits or low hours. Hell, like if you're a family, you are not responsible if you're making money off unemployment benefits. You just stop doing that to go to a job with no hours or low wages,
Right.
So I'm proud of American folks. When people stand up for against the vaccines, the people stand up against low wages. It's almost a revolution in terms of labor. And also, because I was in the car driving with doing something, so I wanted to comment on the I think the issue, but it's the same. But the tricks played by politicians, right?
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do is be consistent with your value system, and you can see right through this. I give you, like, for instance, and I'm gonna hang up the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, as African Americans in this country, it's imperative, whatever party you're in, you have an agenda to address the issues in your community, right?
Right.
You just can't simply, when it comes up, oh, we're voting white, yeah, that's fine, but we want resources for our community. We want what the Afghans got, you know?
Yes.
We want something like a doctor. You know, people have to look, if you understand history, you understand what's going on right now. During the 1930s, then, right, there was an influx of European labor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, and that was to keep black people from some of those jobs, especially jobs like trades, because we were all the trades people in this country, right?
Yep.
So they found used to lock us out, and these Eastern Europeans who were once, they wasn't white when they was in Europe, but it was white, they became white after generations once they got here.
Yep.
A la Afghans, a la anybody that crossed the southern border,
Yep.
that generations to when they need to co-opt to be white, okay? So that's what's going on historically. They will become buffer classes. People have to understand the racism that goes on in Mexico, right?
Oh, yeah.
And other countries around the world. In Mexico, they shipped out Haitians too back to the earthquake, you know?
Yeah.
And so what I'm saying is this. If you know history, you don't get fooled by the mainstream propaganda of the media telling you how you should feel about any issue. Because nothing ever really changes. The players and the individuals do, you know?
Right.
And so this, you know, like I said, once again, enjoying the show. It's very refreshing to hear opinions that are well researched, as opposed to a jukebox of the corporate media. But thanks a lot, guys.
It's all
Thanks
good.
for calling, man.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, Jonathan's right. Yeah, absolutely. The corporate media will tell you that if you don't just support, like, you know, mass immigration on any level, you're a horrible bigot. But like I said, you look through the history of labor in this country, it's always been a labor issue until the corporate sellout liberal Democratic Party turned it into a racial issue. And again, like he said, they're buffer classes. In 20 years, they're going to be white. Okay? And you even hear the term white Hispanic. You hear that term a lot after George Zimmerman shot Trayvon Martin. White Hispanic. It's already starting. It started with the Italians, the Jews, the Irish, all those groups of people. None of them were considered white when they first got here, but they are now. Let me get this caller. Oh, hold on. We got to go to a break. Caller, please hold on.
Don't go nowhere.
We missed the break. The conversation was getting so good. We missed the break. Please give us a call, 219-885-1371. And caller, please hold on.